welcome to the Cynthia Nyamai Show. I am in Goma, and I'll tell you why I decided to draw some inspiration from this place. In 2002, where we're seated right now, the beautiful Savannah in Goma was nothing but rubble, ash, and people were in despair. But Goma picked itself up. People who are resilient started up new businesses with even more energy and better ideas. We will be speaking to a young entrepreneur who will tell us about her journey. Coming up shortly. Africa's young entrepreneurs keep moving their needle, taking bigger risks and expanding beyond the borders. 23-year-old Esther Bishweka is one of the biggest flower distributors in Goma, DRC. She imports her flowers from Kenya and Rwanda. Not afraid to take risks, Esther opened a restaurant and plans to expand her businesses beyond the DRC. Esther says she owes her business acumen to living and growing up in Kenya and Uganda. Thank you so much, Esther Bishekwa, for joining us today. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Where did you grow up and what kind of childhood did you have?
Hello, so like you said, my name is Esther Bishweka. I am 23 years old. I was born here and I left Goma when I was 11 years old to go to Uganda, Rainbow International School. Yes. I stayed there till year 9 for 3 years. So then I switched to go to Kenya in Brookhouse International School. And that's where I graduated from high school. And after that, I went to Switzerland and I did hospitality management and tourism. And after Switzerland, I went to the UK and did my master's in sustainable agriculture and food security. And in 2020, that was in 2020, so I had to come back because of COVID and continued an online studying. And so after that, that's when I decided to come back here, and I was like, what can I do here as I'm studying online? And that's when I decided to open my first business.
Before you go to your business, tell me a little bit about growing up in different countries in the East African region.
So I'm glad that I had all these changes when I was really young, because I realized you don't really take them as challenges, but one that I had was the language barrier. When I went to Uganda, I did not speak English, but thank God that I learned fast. In 3 months, I was after the first term, I already spoke some English, but it was really hard because all my colleagues, my classmates, they did not speak English, French or Swahili. And so because of that, I told myself, and my parents, motivated me to learn really quickly. But for me, that was the only challenge I had, because in both schools, in Uganda and Kenya, it was international schools. So all of us, we came from different backgrounds. So when we came, we found each other. So for me, I think it would have been a challenge if I went to like a strictly Ugandan school and trying to integrate within their culture, or the same with Kenya. But they're all international schools. Even in Switzerland, we had 60 different nationalities in our school. We were about 300 students in total, and within that, we had 60 to 90 nationalities. So again, I did not find a challenge moving to a different continent, because we're all coming to have a new experience with new cultures and new people.
Yes, but growing up, and one thing about DRC is people have this idea that, and we see a lot in the news, that there's war in Congo and conflict. How was it growing up the last 21 years and the times that you were in Goma?
So, for instance, most people thought that our parents sent us to different countries to flee from wars or conflict, but that wasn't the case. When we talk about conflict, it was always in the outskirts, and it's the media, sorry to say, always portrays it more than it actually is, what it is, because I never remember one time flying away from Goma or running from Goma, because I used to come every holiday, and sometimes the conflicts will happen during holidays, like Christmas holidays and so forth. So for us, we always said it was over-exaggerated, and that actually scared people from coming to Goma. It's actually now that people are coming, but also another reason that kept other people away was the volcano. Even people who are from Congo coming from different cities like Kinshasa, they always feared, even when they come, they're sleeping, that what if the volcano comes now?
But you would say you had a happy childhood.
I had a happy childhood because it's like it's an we had we know we were not scared of the volcano. We know it can happen, but not tomorrow, today. And there are usually warnings. For instance, the worst that ever happened was 2002, because it destroyed the whole of Goma. Everything you're seeing, the roads, this hotel, it was nothing. Nothing was left. Only one part of Goma, which is like going towards Himbi, Katindo, and also one side of town, did not get affected by the volcano. But majority, people lost their properties, people lost their businesses, their houses. We had to start from scratch, and especially my family, all of us, we had to. That was also actually a way for some people to start something new. So for instance, for us, thank God, not a lot was affected, but I know people who lost everything. But that spirit, knowing that you can build something from scratch. Our parents adopted that spirit, but also us, the next generation, the children, we also adopted that spirit. Everything you see in Goma, it was all made by people in Goma. Everything. People are so resilient that the spirit of entrepreneurship is within us, because we see something that can happen again, like it happened in May 2021. And so we're like, there we go again. We have to start thinking. So when you make a business, you don't just make it for now. You think, what if this happens? How are we going to make it? Then you start thinking of evolving in other cities. So that's how we are. And if you look at the story of Congo, Goma is outstanding. Now they're speaking about us. Before, they did not speak about us because they only knew about wars. Because even people from Kinshasa, when they come, first thing when you're going to Goma, be safe. Be safe about what you've seen here. It's okay. It's really okay. And I think it's the resilience and showing people that if we've come from this and we're able to do this, then why not you?
Is that really resilience what has inspired you to start your business? You're only 22 and you have a number of businesses.
Yes. That's really inspired me to open my own businesses, because one thing I've also seen here in Congo is people can leave legacies behind, but it's not the same as in the Western world, how even if they go generation and generation, that's something that we need to learn. And so I was like, I can teach that to my children through my own businesses, not through my parents' business. So that was the number one thing. I've always wanted to do to be an entrepreneur. So as soon as I finished school, because one condition my dad gave me, finish school, then you can do whatever you want. But he always wanted me to work with him, for him. But I was like, we can work together, so I can do my own businesses. So
because like right now where we are seated, which is a very beautiful hotel, the Serena Goma Hotel, this is actually your family property.
Yes.
But you're not working here.
No, I don't work here.
You're running your own businesses separately. Do you still get some capital from daddy, or everything is on your own?
So what he helped me with when I had because every time I always give him business proposals. I'm like, what do you think? Because he's my mentor. He's gone through everything, has the experience. So last year I presented like 10 or 5 business plans. He was like, no. And then this year, thank God, I proposed to him my biggest business plan, which I have restaurant, I'll talk about it. And he said, it's good because it also has a bakery and pastry. And he said the only support he can give me, so that I feel like I also made it, was space. One of my restaurants, he gave me space. It's in his building. So that one, I'm not ashamed to say it. He helped me with that. But the rest, it was money that I'd been saving, because I also worked. When I was in Switzerland, I went for an internship in the US. I was being paid well. When I come here, I work in our other hotel. I gave them training. They paid me. So it was all money I was saving up. And to continue to grow my businesses, because now, for instance, I have 3 restaurants and opening the 4th one in January. How do I grow? It's the money I get today, the revenue I get, I put it back in the business. For instance, when I opened the first one, my restaurant, I did not have everything that was necessary. But people didn't know this. For instance, I didn't have enough capital to buy the plates, So I served in papers, like for McDonald's or Chicken Inn. And people didn't get the culture. And I was like, no, this is how you're going to be eating. But the reason was actually I didn't have enough. And I wanted to get good ones from South Africa. So when I had enough money, after 2 months of opening, I went back and ordered in South Africa. So now we have the wooden plates. So it's like that. That's actually one of the examples I give people. After some time, I got enough capital. I bought a car for delivery. And then I bought a new machine for pizza, which is quite expensive, but I had to wait for money to be generated. And then I put it back. So for me, I think I'm gonna use I would say I'm going to start using the profit or whatever I get from my businesses maybe after a year or two, because now everything is literally going back. It's a whole cycle. It's going back so I can do this and do that. Yeah.
And growing up, did you used to watch your because also your mom is into business. So did you watch them and always think, when I grow up, I want to be like them?
So like, funny enough, I never used to pay attention to what they did. I only pay attention now, actually, because as I grew up, I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but more for banking. So for me, it was always banking. I didn't care about hospitality or anything. So funny enough, we did an evaluation test in high school before we went to uni, because I had applied for banking. And the first result that came, they're like, you're suited for hospitality. I was like, no, it's not possible. I'm so sorry. It's not possible. And then I did a second one. Banking came fourth, and hospitality came first, twice. So that's when I contacted an agency for Swiss schools for hospitality in Kenya, and that's how I got admitted. And then that first holiday, after I knew I was suited for hospitality, then I asked my dad if I could do an internship at his hotel. So that's how I actually started working with him, knowing what he does. And my mom is the one who motivated me to do agriculture, because she's into agriculture. She has a coffee brand. She's into coffee, and fish also. And so last year when I came back here, when I graduated from high school, I spend more time with her, because I didn't spend time with my parents as I was in boarding. And when I came back here, it was for holidays, so I didn't really see what they were doing. But I spent time with my mom. I was like, agriculture is the future of not only Congo, but the whole of Africa. Why not?
I want to find out a little bit more if you feel like sometimes you're living under your family's shadow, and your dad, who is a well-known businessman, and also your flower business. I suspect these ones are from Kenya. We'll find out more after the break.
For my dad, he didn't have anything, because he was saying, I'm opening a hotel, I'm going to get all my money from here. But not even a month later, but 3 weeks later, there was a volcano that took down everything in a day.
Welcome back to the Cynthia Nyamai Show. Today we are in Goma, the DRC, and I've met a young entrepreneur, Esther, who's been sharing with us her journey, and we want to find out a little bit more about the Kenyan connection. But Esther, your dad is well known in the DRC, a well-known businessman. You still use his surname. Do you sometimes feel like you're under his shadow? No matter what your chief people are like, it must be her dad.
Yes. So for instance, I'm a very introverted person. People don't know me. I'm like my dad. People don't know him, but they know him by the name. And so one day I just decided on LinkedIn, because I'm big, I like LinkedIn, I like networking. You don't know who you meet, who you follow on. And so one day I decided, let me post my achievements. And it went viral. It was shared over maybe 1,000 times. Same thing on Twitter. Actually, I'm new on Twitter, and it went viral. But the comments I was getting on Twitter and LinkedIn was a bit okay, but on Facebook, people are like, oh no, we're not going to congratulate you. We've already seen the second name. So funny enough, it was the minority that was against my success. The majority were like, how many successful men are known here, and how many of their kids have achieved what she's achieved? That's true. You can. And then they told them, okay, you're talking about her, they're giving her money. If we give you that money now, will you do what she's doing? So people are like, we're not going to congratulate you. Some people actually make conspiracies of my dad working with the former President Kabila. And so one person actually created a whole case on Twitter saying that this was Kabila's money we stole from the country. And we're like, no, she's not even from here, she's from Kinshasa. It's just jealousy. So for my dad, he went to a hard time. He didn't have anything, because he was saying, I'm opening a hotel, I'm going to get all my money from here. But not even a month later, but 3 weeks later, there was a volcano that took down everything in a day. And so I remember,
was in 2002.
Yeah, I still have the image of us running first to our hotel so that we could go through Rwanda, then Bukavu. And my dad stayed. He was like, he didn't say he's going to leave us and burn with the hotel, but he said, until I see the lava coming, I'll just, because it's by the lake, I'll just take a boat and I'll join you guys. But until then, I'm not living here. And thank God he was not touched. And from there, because as we respect the UC so much, because that's where all his other businesses were born from. And the same thing happened here in May. He was here, people ran away, there were bad earthquakes, and he was just like, nothing is going to happen until we see the lever coming. He was prepared, he had boats to take people to Bukavu. But he was like, until then, I'm not going. And so for me, he's actually my mentor. He inspires me. And so I want to be like that too for my children and for my employees and show them that everything is fine. There are times my employees see we're not bringing in money, this and this, there are problems, and I tell them everything will be fine. But I go back home and cry and I say, God, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I still find a way one way or another. The average age of my employees is 23 years old, just like me, and 80% of the people who work for me are women, just because it's hard for them to find jobs. Once they finish school, they're all educated, but it's hard to find jobs here. Unemployment is really high, the rate is really high, and especially for girls. Men, they're very hardworking. They can start selling parts of cars, it's easy, but for women, it's hard. And also it's because of the trainings they get. That's why also in this Congo, with time, I want to bring the idea of you don't just limit yourself with what you studied. If there are trainings being offered here and there, do it, because one day someone may need skills from that training and you did it, so you'll be employed. So that's what that's how I do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
These lovely flowers, I can tell, they look like Kenyan.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about your flower business and doing business with also other parts of the East African region. Did going to school around East Africa also help?
Yeah, it helped a lot, but actually, my aunt, where I was staying, she used to be a florist. And like I said, when I was growing up, if I have something in my head, I don't look left or right, I just focus. So I never knew I'll do flower business. It was always like banking. I'll see her doing flowers for the church. I'll be like, flower girl, goodbye, And then last year, I realized I love flowers. Sometimes I have anxiety, but when I smell flowers, when I see flowers, it makes me happy. And so I was like, why not open a business? And I realized people didn't have a shop here for flowers. I remember one time one woman told me, on Valentine's Day, there's even supermarket can't say, oh, let's put flowers around here for people. There's nothing. So I was like, let me open that. But I first started with an online store. Online meaning you just go on Instagram, you see the picture and the number, you order, and then you pay through M-Pesa or Airtel money. But now I'm planning to open a physical store. So now the flowers, unfortunately, we don't have farms here. People cultivate flowers in bulk, roses or different flowers. So first I started getting from Rwanda. I don't go there myself. There is someone who gets in bulk there, and then they come and sell it to people here. So I usually buy it from him, from Bella Flowers. So these flowers I get, for instance, from Rwanda. And now with the equity trading mission that we had here in Goma, I was grateful to meet Calvin, who came with the flower samples of flowers from Nairobi. And he wanted to know, how is the flower business here? How is the market? And to me, I was like, this is actually perfect to be getting from that, because they're very good quality. And we have a direct flight from Goma to Nairobi, Jumbo Jet, and they reassured to us that by January or February, there's going to be a cargo which can take up to 1,000 kgs, so 1 ton of merchandise and stuff like that. So for me...
So you're looking now to do business in Kenya?
Trading flowers in Kenya, but in the long term, why not have my own farm here? That's my long-term goal, to have my own flower farm here. But for now, I'm open to trading. In Rwanda, even the variety of flowers we get other than roses, they also get them from Kenya. So for me, I'm really excited, because we're going to have all these varieties of flowers, and later on I'll show you how we set them up. For instance, here, we put our flowers, and people say, because it's a hotel, obviously they'll give you the markets. No. Before, there was no one else who could do it. So I decided to ask them for the market, to just do flowers for them, because it looks nice.
Are you planning to maybe come to Kenya and learn a little bit more about setting up?
Yes, I want to come to Kenya and visit a couple of farms and see how they are, because here we have farm spaces that are not exploited, and why not do I'm very excited, and to consult people who sell plants, maybe who can sell to us here, and then we can plant them. But also not just that, but also florists, professional florists, who teach us about plants, who teach us about watering them, even when you have this, how to put in a vase. why a certain length, why is it important to remove leaves or to leave them, and how to wrap flowers, and deliver them to people. The different, because each flower color has its own speciality or has its own features. Like for instance, we don't have the orange roses here, but the orange roses are known to have a lot of thorns. And but you see, the red ones, they do not have a lot. But I'm sure the white ones, the white ones have a lot. You can see from down here. But the red ones don't. So there are all those differences you need to know about the flowers, to learn about them, the temperature they should be kept in. So for me as a business owner of flowers, I need to know that, because I know I'll be there 24/7 selling them to people. I need to know that so I can come back and explain to my people.
I really admire your story, and I'm wondering, where do you get the boldness? You saw a business opportunity. There were no flowers on Valentine's Day. Where do you get the boldness and the guts to just start a business, see an opportunity, and even if it means going to Kenya to learn more?
The first one, it's really funny. It's a quote of the owner of Ford. I forgot his name. Ford was the first car that was ever made on Earth. And before Ford was made, people asked him, what made you think that people would be willing to have, the car? Okay, then it was not cars, but it was literally like, how do you call them in French? Is chariot. With wheels.
The cart.
The cart, voila. And they're like, how did you know that people would be willing to get into this? Because he was like, if I'd explained to people, if I'd shown to people my business model, they wouldn't be welcoming to it. But I realized people complain, my horse is tired, it's getting me where I need to be late. So I was like, let me do an innovation. So I decided to create this. And now it's getting people faster to their destination, 10 times faster, and people love it. So it's like, first you see their needs, you make them understand you need this, but you don't know. So that's what I do. You need this. I tell them, like, for instance, I'll sit down with people or my a partner and ask them, I need flowers. Where are you going to get them from? Maybe Kigali. It's so far. I need them now. So I'm like, you see, that's why I need to open a flower business. You see, you need to create in their mind, it's psychological, the need for something. Like, there was no 5-star hotel in the East. People thought, it's a very place that it has a bad reputation, this and that. But after they created it, they actually made people believe you don't need to travel to Kinshasa or to Kenya or to Nairobi or to Kigali to find a 5-star hotel. You can find it there. So that's why. And then secondly was my dad. Even yesterday we had a speech and a talk, and he told me, if you want to succeed in business, go with what you have in your head. Do not listen to people. You can listen to them once you've set your business, because they can give you advice, financial advice and all that. But other than that, go follow your dreams.
Yes. And who is Esther beyond the business? What do you do during your free time, hobbies, and so on?
So to be honest, this year I have no free time. It's been the craziest year, but I love to travel. I love to travel a lot. I remember when I was in university, I used to, per year I would visit like 10 countries because I just love to travel. Now this year I didn't, unfortunately I only visited 2 countries, but I love to travel. Other than that, I like to do charitable activities, community service activities. Like for now, I'm a national coordinator of a foundation called Serge Bahati Foundation. So I like to give back to the community. And other than that, I like to go out with my friends to restaurants, and discover. So that's who I am a bit.
Thank you so much, Esther, for joining us today and for sharing your story. I've learned so much from you, and we'll be following up later on in life when it comes to your businesses and also trading throughout the East Africa. Isn't it interesting that we are all the same, and especially the youth? They all have similar needs, but they are quite inspiring and have great ideas, which has been food for thought as we start the year. See you next time.